Hey guys, I'm Rochelle Nelson and welcome to my channel. I'm going to tell you a slightly scandalous love story today that is my life, and it's one of my favorite stories ever, so I'm really excited to share it with you guys. So first I'm going to talk about kind of my perspective on meeting my husband when I was 13 and he was 20. Yes, I know, scandalous. And then I'm going to kind of talk about his perspective a little bit on meeting my cutie little 13-year-old self. I went to camp in junior high, and it was a church camp, and it was like middle schoolers and high schoolers. And my husband, Jared, came up with a different church. So he was like a youth leader over us, but he was like, I didn't know him until that camp. So of course he was like the cute older guy that's in college that's like, ooh, who's that? He ended up being in charge of my little like Bible group. I don't even know like what you would call it. And I remember he came up with the name for us. We had to pick an animal and then like a name from the Bible and put them together for our team name. So our group name was like the Jericho Camels. We were really cool. My memories of him were him being really competitive with volleyball, and it's so funny to look back now at like this man that I know and love and think of him from my like little 13-year-old perspective. Him like yelling at me because I wouldn't even like try to go for the volleyball. I was like a chubby little nerdy kid, and he was like, come on, just try for it. We gotta win this volleyball tournament. But I thought he was cool. He was like really nice, and he'd like joke around with us, and he's like a really good youth leader. I remember I was gonna try to be like really funny and impress him and his friend, but like middle school idea of like impressing somebody, at least in my world, was a little bit like weird. Like I was like, I'm gonna say something so hilarious, they're just gonna crack up, they're gonna think I'm so awesome. And so I came up with something really mean to say naturally. So they had like this war paint on them. I don't know, it was for like some camp activity or something, and it was all over their bodies. So I went up to like him and his buddy and I was like, what, you guys don't have abs, so you have to paint them on? Which is a stupid thing to say because I was seriously like a chubby middle schooler and they actually did have abs. But Jared was like totally sweet and he used it as like a teaching opportunity, and he was like, what you talking about? My buddy here totally has abs, and also like be nice to people, like think of nice things to say to people or something like that. I was so embarrassed because I was thinking that did not go like I planned in my head. There is no embarrassment, by the way, like middle school embarrassment, especially in front of like a cute older boy. Kind of like turned red and walked away and went back to my cabin and cried. So his perspective of meeting me at camp when I was 13 was non-existent because he didn't remember me at all, which I'm actually really thankful for, because honestly if he had noticed me when I was 13 years old, that would have been creepy and weird and strange, and I'm super glad he didn't, and he's not a creeper and a pedophile. He didn't remember me, but we happened to kind of like be around each other again after I was older, and I kind of saw him at a party and I was like, huh, that's the cute camp counselor that I embarrassed myself in front of. That's awkward. I'm not gonna go talk to him. So we didn't talk to each other even though we had a lot of mutual friends, and then later ended up kind of running into each other in a park when I was 21 and he was 28. So I actually had just gone through like a really sad breakup, and that was kind of just on my heart, and I was at the park walking and I was like having this little talk with like God, and I was like, God, why don't you bring any nice men into my life? Why are there these guys that like don't treat me right? And then up walks Jared to me and he's like, hey, isn't your name Raquel? And I'm like, no, my name's Rochelle. Leave me alone because you're probably just gonna break my heart like every other guy in my life, so why am I even talking to you? At least it's what I felt on the inside. I wasn't actually that rude. I was a little rude, but he got past my salty exterior. We ended up talking until the sun went down, and it was like so awesome, and he was like so sweet. We're talking about like philosophy, I don't know, our feelings and our pasts and like all this stuff. Then at the end of the night I went home and I wrote in my journal like, Lord, if I ever get married, it's gotta be somebody like Jared because this guy is amazing. Lo and behold, 6 months later he asked me on a date, and that was like one of the best days ever, and we started dating and we got married. So that is the story of how I married my youth leader and my camp counselor. I'm pretty happy about it. Nawita are now actually youth leaders together, and I don't really like tell the junior high girls that that happens. They already probably get crushes on the single youth leaders, and we don't need none of that happening. So we just keep that on lockdown. 22 and 29, which is how old we were when we got married, doesn't seem like that big of an age difference, but 13 and 20 is like so weird, you guys. It's so weird to think about. Leave a comment below if you have a similar story of like, there was this guy that was way older than me, but things totally still worked out and it's not as weird as you would think. I like hearing those stories. They're kind of fun. Give this video a thumbs up if you were entertained at all or found this story interesting, and subscribe to my channel. It's good times and I'd love to have you along. So I will talk to you later, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye!